Thank you so much for attending my presentation about competitive Palafin's wild ride, and first let's talk about its traits. Base form Palafin is pretty awful stat-wise. 100 HP and speed are just fine and everything else is mediocre. However, things change as soon as you switch out. After doing so, Palafin turns into hero form via its ability 0 to hero, getting some of the most insane raw stats in the game. 160 attack is fucking preposterous even with power creep being at an all-time high. It keeps that aforementioned 100 speed as well, which is just fast enough to be a serious threat even without a scarf, but don't sleep on that bulk. Some solid numbers and the good mod of water typing help it switch into a lot of moves cleanly. Moves wise, Palafin is somewhat simple. The 120 base power wave crash is your big stat button, which is why you'll click a large chunk of the time. Palafin does also have some coverage, carrying Ice Punch, Zen Headbutt, Drain Punch, and Close Combat. Finally, if you're unable to outrun something, its signature move Jet Punch can help. Not only is it a stat priority move, but it's also base 60 power. This is a monster and ties Palafin together nicely. The entire idea behind Palafin's gimmick is that you have to sacrifice a turn switching out. However, in singles, this isn't really an issue. It's kinda easy to activate hero mode safely as soon as turn 1, just have some solid bulky Pokemon in the back that can reasonably eat a neutral hit and you're set. It even has the pivot move flip turn, dealing a bit of chip damage on the way out. But what does Palafin do once it gets in position? The most obvious set is Choice Band, letting it break through bulky threats. The only consistent ways you're handling it are physically defensive resists, water absorb mods, or something like Hydrapple. It doesn't have to go for immediate damage though. Palafin's access to Bulk Up, Drain Punch, and Taunt allow it to play a setup role. With max special bulk and defense boost, it's very difficult to take down, enabling Jet Punch cleans. While less flashy, its ceiling is way higher and is actually what made it so broken. No matter what you have, the bulky setup water type with 160 attack, Taunt to stop healing, status, and opposing boosts, plus powerful priority will rip you to shreds. Oh yeah, and it could just tear it into a different type or make water move stronger, turning your counter into dolphin food. Doubles Palafin is much different. The hero mode that was super easy to activate in singles becomes a real pain when there's 2 attacks to worry about on switch-in. More often than not, you'll have to eat moves that don't exactly feel comfortable. In addition, Palafin can't afford to rock a band. It instead sacrifices that power for the ability to run Protect, oftentimes compromising with Mystic Water. When it does get in though, it can wreak havoc. Wave Crash and Jet Punch are still some of the most powerful moves in the game, oftentimes making it redundant to add coverage. The little bit of extra damage you deal wasn't as strong as supportive options. Speaking of, Palafin often slapped haze onto its sets. This was especially strong against Dondozo and can make your entire matchup. It resists water moves while tanking spread earthquakes, making that haze pretty damn consistent. Overall, while it had some strong tools, Palafin's inconsistency was a big issue and hurt its results. This sounds great, but Palafin hasn't really seen success in standard formats for over a year. What happened? It was way too messed up for OU. This thing was banned very quickly, getting the axe within just a week. However, it didn't succeed that much in Ubers, especially after legendaries from Pokemon Home were introduced. Palafin is good when it's a power level above everything else, but when ultra strong legendaries that can about match damage are everywhere, its worst qualities let it down hard. Turns out Palafin really can't compete with Kyogre and Arceus Water. It did actually do well in VGC though. On the Fluttermane, Arcanine, Amoonguss, Palafin core called Palance or FAP for short. This core did amazing in Regulations B and C, winning several regionals and NAIC. The pivoting potential was amazing, the defensive prowess was amazing, and offensively it had the tools to shine. However, as the metagame progressed, 2 things forced it out. The first is extreme power creep. The sheer strength of teams like Sun and new Pokemon Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu were just too much to handle. In addition, Gyarados became the water type of choice. It had Intimidate, dealt solid damage, and had support in Thunder Wave, and, most importantly, didn't need to switch. It could just lead off and be a giant pain immediately. Palance would stick around a bit at the end of Reg C, but the new legendaries of Reg D pushed it out completely. Urshifu in particular buried it. Palafin does have some hope. Uber's UU is a great home for it, holding onto a revenge-killing role in the metagame. The new Regulation H in VGC also looks good. The power level has dropped off hard, which is of course where the Dolphin thrives. We'll have to wait for the first regional to really see, but things are looking up. In conclusion, Palafin's competitive journey has been crazy. From an international win and an OU ban to stuck in bad Uber's purgatory, it's seen a lot of stuff. Thankfully though, there is something it can hold on to and it does have hope. Thank you so much for watching.